of its missile sites, so it may not be so decimated after all. Paul Rieckhoff is here for his weekly visit, host of the Independent Americans podcast. Man, we can put up the Times story. What do you make of this? We've been being lied to? Was that your read when you saw the Times story?
I think we can't trust the Iranian regime, and we can't trust Trump. I mean, it looks like both of them are being untruthful or lying about how good their position is. But at the end of the day, the Strait of Hormuz is still not open. And until it is, they have enough military capacity to cause trouble and disrupt the entire world economy. And I've said to you for weeks that Iran can become a sucking chest wound for the United States. And I think this week especially, we're seeing that happen. Our military continues to get sucked in. We've still got 41% of our Navy there. Yeah. Now we're seeing the Army has to make cuts because of how much they're overextended in Iran and other places. And I think it's a big week for the Chinese. It's a winning week for the Chinese. They have a very strong hand as they look at us continuing to be pulled into Iran without an exit plan.
Well, the Army was going to cut training, right? Because they're spending so much, or, you know, Hegseth was up on Capitol Hill this week talking about spending literally trillions in other places, but you got to cut somewhere, and that's where they're cutting.
Yeah, I mean, he wants a blank check. He wants a $1.5 trillion blank check for a lot more war that Congress hasn't authorized and most of the country doesn't support. And what we're finding out is they've already overspent on what they were allocated last year. I mean, they didn't plan for an Iran war. They didn't plan for using the Army on the border. They didn't plan for $1 billion of National Guard expenses in the Capitol because none of that was approved. And now the Army's got to figure out how to make that balance sheet work. So they got to make cuts on training, and that's going to impact our troops, going to impact morale. And I think it just shows how they're getting way ahead of their skis. You can't commit our troops and then ask for support from the country afterward. When you do that, this is what happens.
So you look at Trump's polling, like right now I have the approval, the average, right? It's just under 40. So it's at, you know, in the 30s barely. It's been in the high 30s, low 40s for some time. This is from DDHQ. But this poll, this is the Economist poll that looks at individual, you know, at more demographics, Democrats, independents, non-MAGA, MAGA, and all of that. You're our, you know, resident independent right here. So this column, all across the board, if you just look at where that is, strongly approve 8, somewhat approve 16. So you're like 24% on independents. So that's the backdrop for the president. So if you're reading that New York Times report to say we're going to be in Iran for a while, that doesn't get better, I don't think, politically, if that's the read on it.
Yeah, wars don't get more popular over time, and those numbers have continued to go downward. That is a massive disaster, not just for Trump, but especially for Republicans down ballot, because independents are 45% of the country. They're not a small minority. They're almost a majority. They're definitely a plurality. Only about 27% of the country is Republican, about 27% is Democrats. If you lose independents, you lose everything.
Who are the independents now? I know you are. You're going to tell me. But who's an independent now? Because some people convince, well, there's no real independence. They lean one way or the other. So in other words, are these disaffected or angry Republicans that say they're independents or Democrats, or are they truly independents? What's a true
More and more that they're truly independent. People who say none of the above.
Because they hate both parties.
Well, 60% of young people, for example, are independent, unaffiliated. They've never been a part of a party. They reject both parties. They think that both of them have sent us off a cliff, and they don't want any of it. I think that's where the future is. More than half of veterans are independents. They're people who I think are sick of the toxicity.
What issues do they, again, I'm going to you as our resident independent expert, care about the most? Like, what's the biggest issue?
I think they care about all the same issues that other Americans do.
Inflation.
They care about inflation. They care about prices. They care about national security. They care about education. They care about the border. And they also are looking for people who can get things done. And they're not loyal to a party, so they're agnostic. They're waiting to see which party can deliver to them, rather than just giving their name, you know, blindly to a jersey like past generations.
Well, they don't like Democrats either. The Democrats in Congress don't poll well. But that's
less popular than Trump. I think that's really important to understand, that people are leaving both the Republican and Democratic Party, but they're not joining the other one. About 10,000 people leave the Republican and Democratic Party every week, but they're going independent. They're going in affiliate. They're not necessarily going over to the other side.
That was going to be my question. Do they go, just because Trump's in the 20s with independents, does that mean they're all voting Democrat at the midterms?
No, no, not at all. And I think that's why I and others are so excited about independent candidates who are offering an alternative. You know, in the past, a lot of folks have said independents are the spoilers. If you look at red states like Nebraska or South Dakota or Idaho, the Democrats are actually the spoilers. They're much less popular than the independents are, and independents are becoming much more competitive in all those states. We saw last night there was a primary in Nebraska. The Democrat has agreed to drop out and support independent veteran Dan Osborn. A head-to-head between an independent and a Republican, especially when the independent is a veteran and a steam fitter, very populist. This is going to be, I think, one of the most exciting matchups to watch this year, because the field is level.
Yeah, we
had
not
a Democrat who can be a spoiler.
Here in the studio a couple of weeks ago. It was an interesting candidate and interesting times to be hosting the Independent Americans podcast, I guess, right? Thank you, Paul. We'll see you next week, Paul Rieckhoff. So remember the Alec Murdaugh murder trial? I mean, it was huge news at the time. And today, some huge news on it. Murder conviction.